There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, everyone. The Yonkō Table has set sail yet again, this time into the realm of Miss Marvel. We are on episode 4 of this mini limited series, and we have a lot to say about this episode. Some good, some mixed. I think we all have a take on this, but with me, as always, to discuss Miss Marvel is fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, episode 4, yay or nay?
It's a yay.
It's a strong.
That doesn't
come
mean
on, give us some more oomph. What kind of yay is it?
No, that's the yay I'm giving it. It's a yay. It doesn't mean it's not without flaw. Still, Miss Marvel is suffering from some flaws that we've previously talked about. But I do think this episode is an overall improvement upon certain aspects, but still needs to find its footing in others. So it's a yay. It's not that strong of a yay, but I feel I have more positives than negative things to say.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, my positives outweigh the negative.
And that is okay. There was some good in this episode. But with us as well are Supernovas here to discuss Miss Marvel today. And let's get into it. So, episode 4. Grandmaster, you alluded to it earlier. So what is this episode in your opinion? What do you think it's doing right so far?
Well, I think the creative decision to have the episode set in Pakistan, Karachi.
Why'd you use air quotes? What is it not authentic?
It is. It's not. It was not filmed in Pakistan. First of all,
where was it filmed?
It was filmed in a studio in Bangkok, which is in Thailand.
Interesting.
So,
interesting.
Not that it loses points, because I imagine
it certainly does.
Well,
no, it doesn't. Come on, what I've got to give them a little bit of credit.
What I mean is they probably sent camera crew to Karachi and got some principal photography and some, establishing shots. And then, they faked it in the studio from there on out.
The Disney magic?
Yes, the Disney Marvel magic.
That can't be that big of a deal.
So, last couple of episodes, my big critique was, I don't want the cultural component to be like, oh, here it is, and now let's start running around and doing stuff. As a setting. Now, funny enough, I say as a setting, and this is an actual setting. Here we are in Pakistan, and we're now getting a deep culture dive into what's going on. But I like how they did it here versus how they've done it in the previous episodes. For example, there was no big celebration going on. There was no wedding. There was no Eid going on. It was simply, this is the city, and here's what kind of everyday life looks like here. I like those portrayals of culture way more than the check box that we're looking for, as far as like, oh, these are the things they do at a wedding, just for the wedding to get trashed. Or here's the things they do during Eid, just for Eid to get trashed.
Couldn't you say the same thing about the city, in the sense that this is what they do in the city, and here's the city getting trashed at the very end?
Because the city didn't like make you focus in on one thing. You just got her going to the yacht club, walking around town, dealing with the vendors, talking about ABCD. If you caught that acronym that they were talking about, the
ABCD,
the American Born Confused Desi.
When was that?
You didn't catch that?
I did not catch it.
So that's a term that they use to describe like the second generation children of Pakistan, India, or Bangladesh who are born in, you know, like America,
right,
and not born in the country, and how they are, you know, the diaspora between them and the, you know, the country and the culture of itself.
So that was the beginning of the episode, or towards the end?
No, this happened, you know, during like the little
like
beach
the tourism
scene.
like when they were walking around and she was trying on the glasses.
Oh, with the cousins?
Well, her cousins were kind of making fun of her about it, and then when she went to the little bonfire, they teased her about it too. This is the kind of stuff I like. I feel this was more of an integrated thing versus, you know, let's build up to this just to, you know, wreck it. I don't know. Maybe
sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to piggyback off of it because I agree. You know, like these episodes, a lot of times when we dive into like some cultures that may not have been represented in media, they try to do some of these big events and try to give you like a lot of like the cultural information and cultural festivities, like GrandMasterHoop was saying. And so this was kind of refreshing to see like what an everyday life was like in their hometown. And then not only is it that like she's going to her hometown and then she's going to be fitting in right away, super easy. There was some pushback. There was some like what GrandMasterHoop was saying, people calling her ABCD, you know, like trying to navigate in a city that doesn't have great self-service and being lost for a bit and asking people for help. And then having people come and say like 1,500 rupees for a picture of you. And it's like, okay, like trying to understand like what it's like to be at home, but not at home, you know, like it's pretty relevant for a lot of second generation type of people that like, even though we were born here, this may not be our home and we can't go back to where our roots were because that may not be our home either because we didn't really grow up like that. So it's really cool to see that kind of aspect of it in the show. And I do appreciate the way that the culture is part of a character, you know, like we're getting a little bit more than just like Kamala and her fantastic powers and then like the villains and all of that stuff. Like we're getting the culture as a character itself, and we're getting to explore some of it too, and we're getting to learn some of it, which is really refreshing to see on like the medium-sized screen. I don't know what to call TV. It's not the big screen.
I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I was gonna call it silver screen, but it ain't.
Yeah, isn't it silver screen? No,
I thought silver screen was big screen, like the movies.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, whatever. Either
there's
way,
a word for it. There's a word for it.
But yes, that's what I agree with what Darce is saying. This is what I think separates it from the previous episodes in terms of how to integrate a culture versus doing kind of a checkbox method. What do you think, Dr. Jace, about what you were given with Pakistan?
I like the cultural backdrop. You know, I like actually being in Pakistan in this episode. That was one of the highlights that I was looking forward to, going to Karachi from last week's episode. My problem with it, though, is I feel like they're still kind of missing the mark in interweaving the actual Marvel superhero plot into...
Why do you want the Hulk to smash in?
No. Listen here. I do not care about Avengers popping in anywhere, or is this in the multiverse? I do not care about any of that. But what I would like is more of the Bengal stuff to be integrated into the story while we're also exploring this town, or rather this city in Pakistan.
I feel like we've been getting some of that because we had how the Bengal was intertwined with the 10 rings. We see how, it's kind of alluding to some of the Eternal type stuff. So I get what you're saying, that we kind of need more like direct, like, this is directly connected to MCU, but
okay, wait, no. That is not what I want. That is not, I do not want any, I don't care about any ties to the MCU. I don't care about, is this from Shang-Chi? Is this a eternal cosmic device? I don't care about that. I just want whatever the plot is trying to be in the story of Miss Marvel to also be integrated into the parts of the episode where we're exploring like the city in this one.
So I know what he's saying, because this is where I found gripes with this episode. It is where they paused. They kept switching back and forth. It was not a cohesive story. I know what you're saying. For example,
Like, okay,
she
go
went
ahead.
from meeting the Red Daggers straight to like this beach party. I was like, wait, what?
What does the beach party have to do
I'm like,
with
wait,
anything?
this kid, you could just throw out the name Red Daggers out loud. She's like, is this a Red Dagger beach party? And it felt off. It felt off. And then like they're eating the food, and she's like, is it spicy? I don't know. It just literally had nothing to do.
It's switching on and off for me.
Yeah, it's like it's almost two
compared-
different series.
Compared to, say, a superior show like Moon Knight, where
Yes.
Moon Knight, it interwove the ancient Egyptian mythology effectively into the main plot that was going on with Mark, Moon Knight. It did. Yes,
I dare say,
I don't know, because
it definitely did.
I dare say real quick that Moon Knight did it better as well, because they even threw in the layer of his Jewish culture without, stopping.
I agree, but also like weaving in some of the Egyptian characters, I feel like that Egyptian council was completely useless. And especially in the last episode, if you haven't seen the Moon Knight series and you're listening in on this podcast, maybe spoiler alert, but that that scene when like he had the staff and he just massacred all of those other gods in a matter of like 2 minutes, like it was a little unbelievable and a little out there, used as like a plot device or something. And that's a whole conversation.
Well, plot device. That's been our favorite word this past week.
But back to this, I think that like using that little beach scene is to establish more of like a little flirty love connection, because I think Kamala does have like a little something with that guy, but I feel like we're kind of getting a little something with Kamala in every guy in every episode. If it's not Bruno, then it's Kamran, and if it's not Kamran, it's now Red Dagger Man, Kareem.
And see, I don't know if I like that either. I don't think I necessarily want her to be, every guy she meets has to, catch her eye or whatnot.
Right.
Which, I mean, it's fine if it does, but I know what Dr. Jace is saying as far as it's not as cohesive as we would like it to be, because the show does just find itself at points where a lot of things do not flow. But I will say this, I do still believe, even though that beach scene I don't think necessarily flows within the plot, I do, again, like I said before, I like how they introduced that's where they first said the ABCD, American Born Confused Desi. They first said it in that scene. But there's some other good cultural components that I really enjoy too. We learned more about Muniba in this episode, and Nani, the grandmother. And I again, it's like, as Darce, you said, a lot of people feel this second generation thing. This one was a little different because, we're tying it back to the partition where she said, her passport is in Pakistani, but her roots are in India, and they share a border of blood and pain. That's a deep quote.
That is a deep quote.
That's super deep.
I like that.
Quote. I like that one a lot. Like that's so. And then again, and then another layer. She's like, "Hello, these Englishmen did this to us, and we are abiding by their ideas. Like, why? And look at all the trouble it's caused." So. I feel I like more of a cultural portrayal within dialogue, and not necessarily here it is for you right here. I like it coming out in these character moments.
I think also like the setting it does play a really cool aspect too. Like when she's walking around in the house and she's seeing, the fact that her Nani is a really talented artist, and she's like, wow, I didn't realize that you were, so good at art. And she's like, yeah, I mean, in a way, like art can be brought out through pain. And so I'm able to take the moments that I can remember and draw them out. And I thought that was really cool. It's really pretty to see these different aspects in this episode and see the beauty that is there in the storytelling. I think that this series has a really good storytelling aspect to it, using its settings and its surroundings and its cultures and different aspects like that. I think it's better than any of the other Marvel shows that we've seen in the sense of telling the story through a culture.
But this show's not consistent though.
I will give Miss Marvel the cultural reward, right?
For sure.
Or like easily. It's in my opinion to its detriment, because it kind of just focuses only on that in certain aspects. But in the sense where, because we've criticized other Marvel shows or some other shows where, they claim to want to be using the culture as like a backdrop, and it's really just salad dressing. It's really just window dressing. They don't really do anything with it. Miss Marvel is really doing something with it. Every episode is something about the culture, whether it's a festival, a wedding, a city. I'm wondering, and actually at the end of this episode, it's the theme shifting over to episode 5 is gonna be about the partition. So they've done something in every episode that dives into the culture. So I will give them props for that at least.
Maybe I'm sorry, real quick.
No,
maybe I like this one better because they took its time with the cultural aspect. Like the wedding was very, let's get to the action,
You see? Oh wait, no, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, no, that's it. I think that this one took its time. We were able to have moments like this.
Now you see, I do agree that the wedding scene in the last episode had that problem. I think another scene suffered that same exact problem at the end again with this episode, and that's the chase sequence. Well, I mean, we could save it for the end when we get to it because we still haven't talked about the Red Dagger yet.
No, we have not.
But yeah, going into the Red Dagger, right? So Kamala, she's exploring this city, goes over to the train where she believes is she saw that vision from her bangles in the last episode. And she gets, ambushed by the Red Dagger, or what's his name? Kareem, right?
He is labeled the Red Dagger.
Right.
Yeah.
The fight sequence between them was kind of weak a little bit. The whole thing with the daggers and Kamala using her powers. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like you might disagree. I like the Bon Jovi fight scene in the last episode in the kitchen. I kind of liked it.
No, the kitchen stuff was good. This one, I mean,
you didn't like the Bon Jovi song that was playing.
I didn't like the song.
Okay, that's what it was.
But I think this one, I mean, it was a short little skirmish.
It wasn't too important. She's
getting better though. It's a display of her getting more creative.
And I kind of noticed that too. Like during the fight scene, I was like, oh, look at her. Like she's only had a couple of weeks to practice with her powers, and like now she's like really kind of like thinking outside the box and how to use them. And I appreciated it. It was a little on the cheesier side, but that's okay. Like she's starting to develop these powers. She's a kid, like it makes sense.
Right. And based on their little skirmish, Kareem notices that she has the bangle, and that's when that's when he takes her back to it. Who's that guy? Is that his father, or that's never said? It's just the leader of the Red Dagger.
He was just the leader.
I don't think it's ever said. Waleed.
Right.
Waleed.
That was just a one-room hideout, right? They didn't really go anywhere else inside that place, right?
No, they didn't really show much.
Okay. No. It's interesting though that one room hideout has so much like technology inside of there.
Right. Because they had that.
Right. Had, like, whole sand graphic.
That was cool. I mean, I see something like that. I think it has to be like a cosmic technology, because who the hell's making that? That ain't Stark tech. That's not a shield tech.
Looks more Wakandan than anything else.
Right. That's the vibe I kind of got from it. But it's through Waleed and Kareem that they basically establish the Jinn are not necessarily Jinn. They're just what they're called because that just happens to be the area that they were discovered in, and the culture just applied the name to them. The same, and I like the comparison he made. He was like, oh, well, if Thor landed in the Himalayas, you'd probably call him a Jin too, but no one does. So
Right.
I thought that was cool. So yeah, they're not really.
How do we feel about like this like dimension thing though?
I feel like I don't know enough about it to really give a thought because they only really say they're from another dimension.
I mean, though, I feel like that's always the plot when it comes to like Marvel dimensions, is that like here it comes, like once this dimension opens up, it's gonna go and take over our dimension, and we can't, exist peacefully.
Well, you can open up the veil. They want to, for some reason, allow it to take over. We don't
Wait,
really...
they wanted to take. I thought it's just they want to get home. And
no, they were saying that if the clandestines get the bangle, they are going to break the veil. And that's what my background is. They said they're going to let their place take over.
I thought it was like one of those things where like we're going to try to get home at any cost type of thing.
That's how I understood it.
Trust me, I watched it. I watched it twice.
But the way you explained it just now, that could just be interpreted as if they break the veil, that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to take over this dimension, the Earth's dimension. It's just an effect. If they try to go home, it's going to cause that to their dimension to bleed into theirs.
Because they weren't sent on a mission to overtake this dimension.
Yeah, they don't care.
No, that's what I'm saying. Listen. If they get back home, their goal is to break the veil. You can get back. They can get back home without destroying.
Huh? No, because in the second episode they said that we need to get back home.
Yes, right.
It's not necessarily like we need to go and get back and break the veil so that way it can be taken over.
No, I know, but I'm saying that is why. Remember how they are exiled? They are exiled, right?
Right.
This is the reason why.
Because they want their dimension to
yes.
No.
Yeah. Oh, no, trust me.
I don't know. I don't.
Yes.
I don't believe
what do you?
That.
Okay. Listen.
Why?
I've been watching.
What happened?
We're watching two different stories right now.
No, I watched this episode twice. I listened very intently to that scene.
But what? But like, where? I'm trying to grasp it. Where?
Because so you're telling me Kamala can go back and forth and it be okay?
Who's saying about Kamala? Who's saying about Kamala?
Because I'm saying she can. She has shown that she can go back and forth.
My thought was in order for because otherwise she would just send them home and let them be on their way. I thought the whole purpose of in order for the Jinn to get back home, it's going to be catastrophic because them opening the dimension forcefully to go home is going to cause chaos.
Yeah, they're not Inhumans, so they can't just go in and out between the dimensions.
Don't say Inhumans.
Literally open it in order to let them out, and when you open it, you break the veil, which causes that dimension.
That's what I thought,
and that's what Bruno was saying.
No.
Episode.
Bruno was saying,
open the veil, you can't close it.
No, Bruno was saying if it takes a strong amount of power to open it.
Right.
Yes.
If you do that, it will have a catastrophic effect.
Yes.
But that is not saying it cannot be opened, though. That is what I'm trying to say.
But that's the whole point. You just said it yourself. The destruction is possible if Kamala does not do it correctly. Meaning the whole danger part of this is just opening it to let them go home.
But you forget they are exiled. And
yes,
why
they
are they exiled?
We don't know yet. We don't know why they're exiled.
It's not
because
Yes.
No, it's not.
I mean, maybe they do have a plan to take over, but I think their whole goal is.
It's not necessarily to take over. It's just they don't care anymore because they don't care. They don't care about collateral damage.
Yes,
I think it's just like I want to go back home. It's like Zuko was
at any
exiled,
cost,
and he wants his honor back, so he wants to go back home.
Yes, and why are they exiled?
We don't know
because they have this radical.
This is your theory. This is your theory.
They have this radical idea to let their world the Nor, the
Okay,
energy
but-
of the Nor.
If they were exiled and the Nor takes over this dimension, then that means that they're
They have to get back
Nor are
home.
going to be still upset, and then they're just going to throw them in prison.
No, they have to get back home though to enact this. They can't enact it from over here.
I don't know about that.
Listen,
But we're gonna move on.
I watched it twice.
We got two
That's all-
episodes
that's
left,
all
and
I-
we're gonna get answers. I
I
think
watched it twice.
the lines have been drawn where we stand on
I watched it twice.
So, on another note, though, because we're bringing up dimensions like the Nor, and because of the very end of Multiverse of Madness, do we think that dimensions are going to be playing a bigger effect in this phase of Marvel?
Well, see, that's what you gotta draw a distinction between. This is a dimension, not a multiverse.
Correct.
meaning-
But at the end of Marvel, we see Clea, who uses her powers to go through in and out of dimensions.
And that's, see, my whole thing is, and you kind of did this with Moon Knight, I'm keeping this very right here in Miss Marvel. I'm keeping it, I am not thinking about Clea
Oh
and
my
what
God.
she's
All
gonna
right,
do, because
Marvel.
Oh, we're talking
hired
about
me so I
Strange,
can
Clea
write
from
out stories.
Strange.
yes, from the end of Doctor Strange.
Okay.
I mean, you can think about that, but you're gonna lose what's going on right here.
I understand. I just think that right now, talking about different dimensions, and then on top of that, talking about different multiverses, I think it's going to get a little confusing to the audience because dimensions happen at the same time as what's happening on Earth, while as multiverses happen on different Earths. So the dimension
Correct.
aspect of it all is super confusing.
I could see the confusion, especially for a casual audience that just wants to, go watch a teenager punch supervillains, and then they get introduced to dimensions and multiverses. I think if you keep it just to this series alone, it's just a dimension, unless in the next two episodes they really elaborate more on it. Like, oh, this is a dimension X from multiverse universe.
Well, dimensions are outside of time, so you don't have multiverses with different dimensions. Just dimensions are different.
Right. That's why I mean, I feel like they're not going to really intertwine them at all in any way to like confuse. I hope they don't, to confuse
Yeah.
people. It's just going to be
Sometimes I get confused by like listening in on some of this stuff. I'm like, huh?
Well, that's
How's it
because you
happening?
are thinking, oh, how's Clea gonna come into play?
Does
No,
Clea
it's-
smash it from the ceiling and say,
Charlize Theron opens a hole
is-
and then
Stephen
sends them all back
Strange,
home.
assemble.
It is very condensed right now. And I did think, they would, connect it to the other dimensions, because Doctor Strange in the first one, she pushed
Right.
him through all those dimensions, not multiverses, similar to how she was drawing power.
And Doctor Strange, in what part?
She sent him through the dimensions,
The
like
first
when
Sent
she
him through
first.
dimensions.
The first Doctor Strange movie when she said, "Open your eyes."
Oh, the first one. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Right.
And just how she draws power from the dark dimension with Dormammu.
Oh, and there's a mirror
She's-
dimension too.
Yes,
Yep.
correct.
Okay.
She's
And now
drawing
there's a light
power
dimension.
from the Nor dimension. And
Right.
I think they're just going to keep it just like that for now. Because even talking dimensions, Moon Knight is talking dimensions. That afterlife is technically a dimension.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
That's a whole nother plane of existence. So that's the thing. I think what they just try to do is they try to introduce these things, but they don't necessarily have to interact with one another. It's just the knowledge of knowing they exist. And I prefer it like that versus them alluding to something bigger about to happen. Like, I'm
But,
totally
no.
okay if this is the only time Nor gets to mention and the dark dimension only gets mentioned in Doctor Strange. Like, I would be totally fine.
Yeah,
with
but I mean
that.
that's where Stephen Strange gets his powers from. He casts spells using powers from different dimensions. So if he's like, oh, here's a spell from the Nor dimension, yeah, we can see it. That's a cool tie-in. But
that would be neat.
I'm trying to. There was I can't remember what I was gonna say. Move on.
So with the Red Daggers, is it their job to protect what's the whole point of the Red Daggers? Because they recognize the bengal, and go ahead. What is it?
Protect the people from the threat of the unseen. So
Okay.
they sound like dimension fighters.
Okay. Well,
Which
exclusively
also ties into
dimension
Doctor
fighters or just like anything?
Whatever
Nice.
unseen could be.
Hidden organizations, crime bosses.
I think it's unseen. I think they deal with dimensional work.
Oh, unseen as in supernatural or
Dimensional work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
they said dimensional work.
No, I am saying dimensional work.
But you
'cause they
see,
only-
unseen can mean like the crime underworld.
Why would no? Why no?
Why-
I
wouldn't
kind of got like a hint of like the hand or something, and like I got vibes from like
That's
Elektra
what I
and that
got.
kind of stuff.
No, not at all. They only
Why do you think
mentioned
it's
the
exclusively?
clandestines. They only mentioned the clandestines
Because
They've
that's
been
what's
waiting.
happening right now.
No, they've been waiting for Aisha's bangle to pop back up. They've been waiting for Aisha's descendants to pop back up. And they're watching the clandestines and every move they're making. I think literally that's the only thing. The unseen. If we're talking this whole, let's introduce
Yeah, but
dimensions.
That's
Dimensions are not
technically-
seen. That is the
that's
only thing they
technically
could be
Doctor
referring to.
Strange's job. Like all of the people in those academies, like in the oh shoot, what are they called? They have one in New York and Hong Kong.
The secret sanctums.
Yeah, those everybody that's in those sanctums, they fight the things that are unseen.
I'm sorry, they said it here.
I
Just
don't
because
know.
they're doing it doesn't
Well, who
mean
knows?
anybody
Maybe-
else can't do it.
Maybe Red Dagger can be tied into Doctor Strange or something in the future, and we get little interwoven pieces. But that's looking ahead. I was gonna ask you though, since you kind of know a little bit more about Miss Marvel, since you read up on it, do they ever allude to the Nord dimension and her having her powers from that dimension?
I think
Miss
that's
Marvel
something
is an
new.
inhuman. It is.
That's
so-
what
Yeah.
I'm saying. She's an Inhuman, so this is all of this is
This
just
is new.
Kind of
I don't
as,
know
like, a
anything
new-
about the Nord dimension. I haven't read up on Miss Marvel because I try not. I read up on the Pakistani culture and the Muslim culture. I haven't read up on actual
No, you were
Miss
saying
Marvel.
Something about like her dad and her mom isn't really in the comics.
Oh, we were talking about the video game we played.
Oh yeah, they usually from what I've seen, at least in the video game and some other pieces of media, they usually show her having a relationship with her father more so than her mother. I think most of the time her mother is absent. But that's just in the versions that I've read. Maybe there's versions of Miss Marvel where mom and pops are still there. Abu and
Ami.
Ami, yes. But
Also, speaking of Ami, like savage. That mom was savage when she was like, "Leave him here. He's made his path." Like
that
Oh.
was I don't know how I feel about that. Well, I have problems with the scene in general, but then that part happened. I'm like, oh wow, that was kind of mean, but I guess I get it.
No, I get it too. He's a he's safe, but he's a liability.
Damage control. What maximum prison? This was an L. This was a big
This
L.
makes
This
no
episode.
sense.
I thought this is the one time I would have gladly welcomed these stupid ass MCU cameos of people in these prison cells saying, I don't know, Vulture in a prison. I want pictures of Spider-Man. Just something stupid. I don't care. This to me, when they gave you the bird's eye view of like the prison, this reminded me of like Rikers Island, the Raft in New York. So by setting it up like that, I'm expecting, wow, we're getting a shot of the prison. There might be characters in here that either A, we've seen before, or characters when they name drop them, it might allude to something else in the future. I would have taken it here, nowhere else, just here, because it's a maximum security prison. But no, it was a weird prison breakout scene. It was like
maximum security prison though. Like I call BS on that.
This was weak.
not a prison. This was the hallway to the boiler room with all the pipes on top of the ceiling. Because what kind of maximum security prison needs their prisoners to put their handcuff chains attached to this pipe and keep it moving? And why is it so poorly lit? Like,
because so the prisoners can't see where they're going.
This was so bad. And
Was
see, I feel the
that-
clandestines were the worst
And
part
how
of the
easily
episode.
they broke out of it.
Yes,
She broke. What's her name? Oh my God, Najma, right?
Najma.
Najma. She breaks out of it. Like she just breaks her cuffs.
Yes, and
Why didn't you all do that?
And I really didn't like this because again, we've seen more competent like organizations.
Right.
Why are they trying to make damage control a thing when I'm pretty sure damage control has nothing to do with handcuffing superpowered people
It's just
or anything like
just
that.
thrown in there at this point.
I did not like this.
Remember
at
this
all.
like this group from like the first Spider-Man movie? Yeah, we're gonna bring it back for you, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. And then we see him like, actually, you can keep them. Like, we don't really need to see them anymore.
But also they didn't establish what they do. They don't
Yeah.
run no prisons.
This was
Maybe-
really, really bad.
Maybe they're like that in between into like a better authority, you know, like how some people go to jail before they go to prison type thing.
The county jail looked better than this place.
How do you know?
Like,
You didn't see anything with inside the
you don't
prison.
have to see anything.
You didn't see
The
the
fact-
cells. You didn't see the warden. You didn't see the
Did-
guards because
did-
those weren't guards.
Did the
Those weren't
alarm
guards
go off?
escorting
Did the
you.
alarm go off when they
That's what I'm
broke
saying.
out?
They
I don't
just
think it
walked
did.
out.
Yeah,
Right.
they
How's
just
this a
bust down the
prison?
door.
Yes, house is a prison.
They were being escorted to the main prison facility, and they broke out from this
Trash.
This
boiler
was,
room side.
this was trash. This was utter trash. I did not believe a single bit of it. I was like, they need to do better here.
Leave him behind. He's not needed.
I would have left him
Don't.
behind. I
I
mean,
would have
if-
too. It's just like, I don't know. It comes off as conflicting because that's her son, and it's like he could die here. So it's like you care about his well-being because you helped him from those guards, even though he helped you escape initially. But then at the same time, you're like, no, leave him so he can
They
die.
don't care
So he
enough.
can die once we go back to our dimension. It's like, what? Like, I don't get it. Just kill him then at that point. Weakness.
Weak.
But so they're on their way to Pakistan because Najma.
Also,
Oh, good.
the
Yeah,
time,
say it.
No, but like the timing of all of this was like really weird too. Like, okay, they break out, and then did they like teleport? Did they fly
How-
over?
How did they
get
know she was in Pakistan?
How did they
Well,
know?
I thought it was the train. The train vision.
That's so loose.
Actually, no. Maybe
It's-
the Bengal. Maybe the Bengal has like a little beacon, and they can head towards it.
They
Maybe-
never
The
explained it.
beacon. Okay, I might draw the line.
Yeah,
with
because
that.
no, she said that in the third episode. She was like, "I was drawn to you by
yeah,
the Bengal.
yeah,
because that's why you can see me and I can see you."
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Okay, all right.
So
That-
maybe
oh,
I
that,
guess.
but that's like weak.
But
like,
then how
also-
quickly they
Yes.
got
How
there.
quickly?
And also, how do they? Oh, I guess if it's a beacon, because I was like, how do they know about this secret hideout?
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say that secret hideout is not so secret anymore.
Yeah, they went
It
straight
wasn't
through the
secret.
roof.
Which okay, they smashed it from the ceiling. The plot.
Hulk smash.
This was a weird scene because like before they smashed him from the ceiling, it's like they kind of skipped or removed a training montage that Kamala was supposed to have because Waleed was having a conversation with her, basically saying just random compliments like, Kamala, you are stronger than ever before now, or you are the one. And she's like flexing and showing off like her arms. But like, why was she doing that? Like what happened in this scene?
No, it's because right before that they were saying that like people who've worn the bangle don't have the same amount of power that you have with it, and so because there's something inside of you that is bringing out that bangle, it's like allowing the power to like flow out through you, and that's why she was like, oh, like this. And
No, but he's saying because the scene before this, she had just got home from the beach party, and then they just jumped straight into this. Never once did they allude to that Waleed was going to help her train and become better with the bangle. And now all of a sudden he's talking while she's doing all this. It's like, why are you talking?
It was a weird scene. Like I get probably
It was
what they were
missing
trying
a
to do.
scene. It was
Right.
missing a scene.
Right.
It was like literally missing. We're going to train you now to how to channel that energy out of the bangle. They needed that connect. It was also weird because it was so quickly abrupted.
yeah,
the plot smashed in from the ceiling and they interrupted everything.
And again, where and how do they have all this technology to slam like glass, almost unbreakable glass doors everywhere?
Aren't they really strong? I thought that was their shtick, the Jin.
No, he's saying,
like the Red Dagger secret hideout. He's like, hit the button, and it's like went into like lockdown mode where there's like glass.
Oh, okay, got it.
Everywhere.
Got it.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. You want to talk overall Marvel stuff? Fine. You want to talk where they get this money from? Fine. Well, we saw 10 rings in episode 2 or 3, whatever one had the flashback. We saw the 10 rings symbol. What if the Red Daggers are a faction of the 10 rings?
I guess that would be.
I don't think so.
Neat, but
what do you mean? It doesn't have to make sense as far as why.
It doesn't have to make sense. Roll credits.
All you have to understand is all you need to understand is the 10 rings are strongest in Asia and Middle East. Right.
Wow. So you're saying just because India is in Asia, they're connected to the 10 rings?
That's not what I said. I said you have to logically. You need to understand that is where their main strength is located in Asia and Middle East Asia. Yes.
I'm gonna disagree with that on potentially geographically racial context.
There's no racial context because I didn't make it about race. I made it about
not about race.
It's
the fact that it's geographically coherent, and maybe like that doesn't just because you're in India doesn't mean India is like all of Asia and all of Asia.
That's not what I said. I said Asia. That's
exactly what you said.
I said Asia and Middle Eastern Asia. I didn't say India.
I mean,
I never said they were in India.
Whole subcontinent that makes a lot of money on its own. I think like, what is it, like 40% of the entire world's wealth is in India?
I'm just saying we were alluded to a secret society already
that consisted of 2 people.
Huh?
That consisted of 2 people.
That was like the main whole part that was getting to me. It's like a secret society of 2 people have all.
Oh no, I'm talking about we literally saw the 10 rings symbol. That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You're saying because of that, they might be a faction of.
They might be a player in this Miss Marvel game. And the more I think about it, you don't drop that symbol so blatantly without them coming back into play later.
Wasn't the whole point of that because
are you trying to say that like a faction of the 10 rings is the Red Dagger to stop the Cree from infiltrating Earth?
Who said anything about the Cree?
You alluded to it.
Because
no, I said that alien was a Cree.
That blue arm that was inside that 10 ring circle that had the bengal on it was probably a Cree.
Yes, it was definitely a Cree. I'm just saying.
Just say you want the Guardians of the Galaxy to come in episode 5 or 6.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
the blue arm is actually Will Smith, who had the bengal, and they're trying to connect it to Aladdin also.
No.
Jin and Genie.
All I'm saying is you're looking for a logical reason as to why they have all this technology in this little hideout. I think the 10 rings is the most logical answer for that.
Sure.
There's no. What do you mean? I guess.
What if there's no explanation? What if they didn't even think of it? They're like, who's gonna?
What if they don't even need a handout of money from somewhere else? Maybe they just made their money. Food.
Yeah, my thing is like this is a secret society of 2 people. And they did not even bother to explain why it's only 2 people. So I really feel that they did not put in the effort to make a connection between the 10 rings and the Red Dagger being a faction of them so that they could allude to it later on. I feel like they didn't do that.
All I'm saying is this. If you want to connect it to the bigger Marvel universe, here's something they already gave you. This is going to make the most sense to what they're going to bring up later on in the show. For example, it wouldn't make sense to bring up that Bruce Banner was giving this guy money when they like the only mention of Bruce Banner is the cosplay.
Who was giving?
Oh, just forget it.
Can we wait? No, go back.
No,
Bruce Banner was no. You brought it.
Wait, Bruce Banner.
I'm saying you can't make an argument for Bruce Banner giving these people money because that doesn't make sense.
Who is saying that?
No, it's an example.
You're saying you. So
No,
it's
I'm not. I'm
a
talking
rabbit hole.
hypothetically.
hypothetically.
You are terrible at following.
goodness
pictures.
What
gracious.
happened is when Iron Man died, he gave all of his fortune to Bruce Banner, and Bruce Banner now smashes through the roofs in every series just to give people money.
This is what you
Listen,
want.
I'm calling it right here. The 10 rings are going to appear in either these last 2 episodes or a post-credit scene after the finale. Guarantee it. I put money on it. I'm telling you right
You
now.
put money on.
I
Okay.
Yes.
I think that the reason why that they're connecting the 10 rings to this is that whoever created the 10 rings might have also created the bengal. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm alluding it to.
Oh, I don't mean the 10 rings, the Makulon rings. I'm talking about the organization.
I understand. I'm just saying they're trying. I think that's why there's like that connection. I don't think there's.
Oh no. Well,
Fire
that
Brigade.
symbol is not the symbol of the alien group, though. That symbol is the organization symbol.
I understand, but the organization was led by the person who had the 10 rings. So
Yeah, but I know. I know. I already we went over this.
You're
The-
saying that the symbol of the 10 rings that was used for the organization, somehow the organization itself, but not necessarily the 10 rings, the cosmic item, is going to make its way into the story at some point in Miss Marvel, right? Is that what you're saying?
we already said that they're probably from the same place.
Well, right. That's the cosmic aspect of it. But what
Yes.
you're saying is
The
in Miss Marvel,
organization.
the organization, because they showed the symbol
Yes.
of the 10 rings at either in episode 5 or 6, the organization is going to be either brought in,
Yep.
mentioned,
Calling
whatever.
it. Yep.
I disagree.
You're crazy.
but that's okay. But you can say
That
I
is
told
fine.
you at the end.
That
You
is
know who you
fine.
sound like? You sound like Darce every single time we watch a Marvel show.
No,
That
but
is-
Darce,
yes.
you don't have evidence to back your theories.
Darce,
they showed
no
a 10 ring
evidence?
symbol.
Who's your source? Me. I am.
Cite
the
your
source.
source.
Either way, sorry for the tangent.
It is fine. It is fine.
I don't like how they just bust in and
I didn't like it either. It was silly. I didn't like how they busted in, and I felt like the chase sequence that came afterwards, while it was nice, like it was action. It was the action scene in this episode. I feel like because we got 30 minutes of the city in Pakistan before this scene, they were on a time crunch. Like I feel like they were fighting the clock of the episode rather than the enemies that they were running away from. Because the pacing of this scene is boom, 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 boom. It is so fast paced, not in a good way, because your action scenes should be fast in a way, right? You want to get that adrenaline pumping as you're seeing these characters bob and weave and flip and do all these crazy stunts. But this was really, really fast to its fault.
And I think it was also like kind of a little uselessly. There was just so many useless, stupid type things that happened in this. Like, I don't understand the reason why they had to like disengage the bike. You know, like if Kamala can make a ramp, why can't you just make a ramp over the stuff? You know, like there's just like a lot of things where it helped one situation, so they showed it, but then it didn't help another situation, so it just wasn't consistent with that. And then like also when he was up on that balcony and that lady jumped out of nowhere and she's like, I'm gonna kill you, and he's like, hold on one second, throws his knife, and then she's like, all right, stab, and then he falls and dies. Like that whole pacing was kind of really weird to me as well. And I'm like, no, that's kind of.
Well, you forgot before their whole. Well, he threw the knives at the other guy, and,
Right.
But she was like, ugh, and he was like, okay. He took off his mask too. I'm like, oh, so much for the secret.
It's okay
Right.
here. There's no one around. It's just me. and you.
I guess. I mean, I like that it was fast paced. I was fine with the fast pace. Yeah.
The pacing was fine. It was just, I feel like there wasn't really too much thought into this. I think.
Oh, you know, that's what I was gonna say. I thought it was like, I like the fast paced nature. I think some of the execution of it was kind of, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember what happened to all the people, but the only people that were there was that family she made a ramp over.
Yeah.
Like, where did everybody go? Did everybody
Oh,
just
the
dip?
streets were
Are they
empty.
just so used to
Yes.
it? They're like, oh, here's another chase.
And, like,
they walk out of the way. I'm like, all right, back to
I
it.
understand, like, you know, realistically, you have to have the streets cleared to have a scene like this, but Karachi's a very compact city with a lot of people in the
Yeah.
streets. You take that aspect out, I'm already pulled out of the experience in a way. Because now the
Okay.
streets are clear for this action set piece. And it's like, I don't know, maybe you didn't need a high-speed chase in this type of city. Maybe you could have done a foot race, a foot chase.
I agree, and you know what it gave me the vibes of, and I liked it. I liked the other vibe a lot more than Miss Marvel's vibe.
Black Widow.
Mumbai scene over in Inception. That chase scene when they were on foot running around throughout the city, I thought that was great. Do you remember?
You wanted them to
ever
do
see Inception?
that?
I
in
know
this
the
episode?
scene you're talking about.
Yeah, I wanted.
Okay.
I would rather have that than the car scene that was kind of going on with this, and it wasn't even a car scene. It was like a
Scooter.
garbage truck and a motorbike or something. I don't even know.
It was one of those
It was like,
motorbikes
it
that
has the-
carry,
yes,
like a
right.
taxi in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of
I-
cool when he detached the taxi part and he was like riding on one wheel. It's like, oh wow, he's balanced. That's
Parkour.
nice.
I think my biggest problem, actually, though, was the clandestines themselves. One, like you said, she appeared on the balcony out of nowhere. They are not really defining what these powers are and what they can do. And they just popping up. They're able to catch up to a moving vehicle. They just crashed and they're unharmed, you know.
And yet
It's-
a knife can kill them.
A
Yes,
simple
right.
knife, yeah.
Right.
So
Mhm.
it really doesn't. It's just sloppy, in my opinion. It doesn't really make
No,
sense.
it
to
is.
really
It
do too
is.
much on that.
But I do like the display of Kamala getting better with her powers again.
It is nice, especially when her and Kareem,
Red Dagger,
Red
Kareem.
Dagger, they have that, you know, this side by side scene. It was nice, you know, they all came in and started beating them up, and it was cool. I thought, didn't someone get like, someone died in this, right? No,
The one of
this scene?
two
One of them-
clandestines
One of them
died
died.
because
Okay.
Waleed got one. Waleed got the belt guy,
Okay.
and Kareem got the guy with the I don't know what you
Oh,
the,
that's right.
The hammer
scepter
thing?
hammer,
Okay.
right?
It's like the funny,
Got it.
doofy one that's like popcorn.
And then Waleed died. And we
Waleed
barely
died.
knew him.
Yeah.
Introduced.
And oh my
and-
gosh, they could have checked his body.
Yeah.
He
He's,
just
no,
got
no, he said he's
stabbed.
done, Kamala. Let's run. Let's run.
Yeah, right. I'm like,
Check his
hello?
pulse. No.
Yes,
No.
he's
For like a
gone. I can
small-
look at him and tell he's gone.
Yeah, from a small like stab wound in the back that wasn't.
She hit him like in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless it's like
Um,
they come back to his body and it's not there. Weak.
listen, it's moments like these where I get pulled out because what immediately after that, what's her name? Najma, she strikes Kamala with her
What she
weird-
says, I don't care, or something.
Yeah, she says something. I don't even remember what it was. She's striking Kamala with her weird dagger thing. I don't even know what
Mhm.
she has. It looks silly. She has the silliest.
Oh, that
weapon out of
stab
all
was
of them.
bad too. That stab did not look that good.
Very bad, and it just
Mhm.
precisely hit the bangle on Kamala, and she's now blasted back to the past, like from Phil of the Future all over again.
Wow,
she
Phil of the
in-
future.
Nice reference.
Just trying to
But
be
is
a
she-
teen bop.
Is she in the past or is she in a vision?
Well,
right.
we
I was
we
thinking
don't
about
know if
that.
she's material there. We
Right.
see her
Right.
walking around, but we don't know if
And-
they can see her.
I gotta say, honestly, when I saw her walking around and there was all the interactions of people on the street, I kind of got emotional on it. They did a really good job of pulling the emotion of like people running away and like
Right.
just the dialogue that they were having between their families. Like I think I lost it a little bit when they when the dad was like, I'm too old to travel, take the money. You know, like they probably didn't have too much, so like just giving their children a chance to be in like a better future. I was like, wow. I was like, That was really sweet.
Ka-chow.
I give credit to Marvel.
Ciao.
This is probably the most brown people Marvel has ever had on screen. What are you laughing?
The way you said it, it's the most brown people.
They're not black
they've had on
people.
Yes, I know. It's just you could have said it any other way.
They're not white people.
This is the most Pakistani people they've had on screen. This is the most Muslim people they had on screen.
You don't know if they're
Southeast
Muslim.
Asian.
You don't know if they're
Indian,
Muslim.
Pakistani.
You don't know if they're Indian.
You're right. All encompassing. Just put them all in one bucket. Let's just
No,
call
I-
them
I'm
brown.
waiting
Well, this
for
is
the-
partition. This is. I'm not putting them all in
So-
one bucket. Not all
so-
black people are. Not all black people are Jamaican. Not all black people are Haitian. This is the most brown people. And if I am offending anyone, apologies. You can come correct me on the Discord later, and I will totally have a conversation with you. But what I say this because this is diversity. This is something you wouldn't ever think Marvel to showcase in a Marvel production.
it
I'm also
is
waiting
very
for the
well done.
other brown people to be put on production too.
Oh, right. A lot of them are behind the scenes also. Like a lot
Yeah,
of the
right.
writers, directors.
Yes.
Good on them. Like they're really pushing for it. It was kind of like what I said earlier. Like for this show, despite I wish it was better interwoven into the main plot. Marvel is really doing their best in trying to push this culture at the forefront of this portion of the MCU, and I think in that regard, it's doing a great job. It's almost covering everything to a degree. They like what we said earlier. Episode 2 was which festival? Oh, the Eid, right? Eid. Episode 3 was the wedding. Episode 4 is Karachi. And episode 5 is going to be the partition of India. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like episode 6 is going to follow that pattern again. We're going to get something new in terms of like what's the theme or what's the backdrop for the episode to take place in.
Well, we got to episode 6. We got to go back to Jersey.
Yeah, we gotta go back.
Right,
to
we got to go
Jersey
back.
and wrap up loose ends.
So are we team like this is she actually got sent to the past? Is this a vision?
This is a
She's
vision.
definitely there. She's definitely there. And
I'm
I
team
bet
Shannon.
you the
When you
only
say
person
she's there, as in like people can
She's-
see her, or
the only person that's going to be able to see her is Aisha.
oh, because she has the bangle at that
She has the
time?
Nor, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm team vision, because I think that she is reliving and re-seeing the experience of what exactly happened at that train station.
Okay.
And what we're probably going to see in this vision is like Aisha saying like, I don't want to go back to this other place as my home. This is my home now. And
Right.
the clandestines are probably going to be like, no, you're ugly, and then stab her. And like, we're going to be like, wow, I can't believe you did that. And then,
Well, we're also going to see, and I'm calling this now too, you know, her grandmother got back to her father because of what? The Trail of Stars?
yeah.
Kamala's going to be the
Right.
Trail of Stars.
See, that's
Oh, you
if
think-
she's physically there. I don't think she's physically there.
Right.
Well, that's my thing. The only person that can see her is Aisha. So she's probably there in the Nor dimension. She's not
So-
there. She's
so you-
looking at it. Time is relative. Time is not a thing in the Nor dimension. I'm calling it now.
So you're saying that this is going to be one of those like loop theories where Kamala
Yes.
was always destined to go to the past so that she could be the Trail of Stars?
Yes.
Eh,
Mm,
we'll see what
Even if
happens.
it's not her, she's going to encourage Aisha to do something with the stars. It's going to
think
tie
this-
back.
I think this really is just kind of like her kind of getting a history lesson and seeing what exactly happened. And we're gonna get more of the revolution of like why Aisha doesn't associate with the clandestines and why Aisha's not part of the picture. I think we're really
Right.
gonna get more of that information out of it and less out of the fact that Kamala is changing history or being a part of history.
Right. Well, yeah, because like there's still a lot of questions with Aisha too. Like, you know, why did she go MIA from
Because
from the gym?
They're bad.
Well,
She fell in love.
what was that realization? When did she realize they were bad? why did she realize they were bad? Because you seen buddy with Najma right before the rocks fell down and they got divided. So I guess we'll see that next episode. It'll be the semi-finale for the episode 6. But yeah, I mean, it'll be cool. I'm just hoping like the way they use the partition, like it really gets interwoven into the story, which I feel like there's no way it couldn't, because this is literally, we are going to see Aisha in this, and we're going to get an explanation as to what happened. And everything with the Bengals, where they're from. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. So any other final thoughts on episode 4 of Miss Marvel, or where you wanted to go in next week?
Episode 4's proven to be stronger episodes in the Marvel shows. So my theories stand. Huh?
Do you say episode 4 or episode 5?
Episode 4's.
Oh, I thought episode 5 was a stronger one.
No,
you're right. You know what?
Episodes.
That's part of the Marvel formula, is that episode 5 usually does like a recap or like a history telling right before the big reveal at the end.
Well, episode 5 is the calm down, the calm before the storm. Episode 4 is this is what we've been building to, or
right? Didn't they do that? They went through the doors in episode 5 of Moon Knight, right?
Episode 5 of Moon Knight was all the flashbacks.
With all the flashbacks.
Episode 4 of Moon Knight was the tomb.
Right. And then episode 5, or this preseason finale of WandaVision, was her going back and looking through all of like the moments where she could have been a witch. I think like
Wanda has 9 episodes.
Flashback.
Wanda doesn't want.
The preseason finale episode always has flashbacks. That's what I'm
the penultimate episode. That's your proper terminology.
You are a teacher.
But yes, my theories stand. You will see
that it will be incorrect. Yes,
they are exiled because they want to have the Nor take over this dimension. Go watch it again, and the 10 rings are involved. Boom. That's all I got for you.
Bring it.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Here is our take on Miss Marvel episode 4. Let us know what you all think in the comments below, wherever you're listening to us on, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, at the Yonkō Table, and check out the YouTube page, DrJaceAttorney, for the video portion of the pod. But, and also, if you want to continue the conversation, as we alluded to earlier, check out our Discord server. There's a link to the Patreon that gives you more details on how to join in the description box down below. But with that, everyone, I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, and Supernova Darce, signing off, and take care.